Listen to my mouth's a gun and my words are a bullet. Through the years my eyes stay clear and they see through the bullshit. Sunny days dissipate and they fade into nothing. Loving arms causing harm and they're holding me hostage. Hey, welcome back everybody. Late night with Lefty. I know we've been gone for a pretty long while. Man, 2001. What a year. Me and Addie and Joe, we put on some really cool shows. We met a lot of good friends. Hung out with some really cool people and went to some really fun places. We were started off here in my living room, just talking to our friend Scoet Glass, who's in Florida right now, doing some glass work with some really cool people out there. So definitely check out his Instagram, Scoet Glass, Esco. Esco. That's a letter. SKOEET Glass. Find him on Instagram. You'll see some really cool stuff out there. We started off with him just kind of as a joke, and we were messing around and thought it'd be really cool to interview our friend because he was doing a lot of good work in Colorado Springs where I'm at. Just a second, I gotta turn this off real fast. Forgot I left my Xbox on. But and then it kind of branched out from there. We talked to Sean Ostro. We talked to Brian Ostro, both owners of What's Left Records. If you're in Colorado Springs, it's off a Circle over here, Circle and Platte, pretty much. We hung out with Hawk Rider. We met our good friend Joe Bruno that we started doing work with over at Late to Quest or Down to Quest Streaming House. They're doing a lot of great stuff too. They've got ads up in town now. You can see Down to Quest ads at a few bus stops here, which is really cool, man. And we're all really proud of them. And me and Addie went to Comic-Con with Down to Quest and hung out there and did some field work and stuff. Got some good footage. Unfortunately, after a little bit after we went to Comic-Con, Addie ended up in the hospital and in a coma due to diabetes and other things that right now, as far as court cases and stuff like that go, that his mom's filing and working on due to some things that happened to him to lead him up to being into the hospital. He ended up there in a diabetic coma, ketoacidosis, I think it's called. I'm not 100% sure. I can't remember exactly what it was called. But he ended up getting really bad brain swelling and had a stroke and ended up passing away. And that's been really hard for me because I always felt like Addie was one of the he was a star. He that after we did our first show and he was joking around and he was so hyped about promoting our friend. I was like, we have to keep going. We have to keep doing this, man. You're just too funny and you're just too. There's just something about you, man, that just even if I'm kind of plain and boring and to the point or whatever, Addie would always come out of left field with some crazy, just crazy story about his life, anecdotes and stuff like that. And that's what made him great. And I felt like that's what made the show great. He was always asking really cool questions, really interesting questions, and telling really fantastic stories. And you know, uh, it's been hard to kind of pick up since September when he passed to get behind the camera like this, and and go on, without him. I mean, as far as Addison goes, Addie's always, with me, right here in my heart, and always in my memory. Um, but I started going to school um, for television and radio production, and that was a lot of fun. And uh, me and Joe hadn't been talking very much, but life, like, that's just life. Joe, you know, ended up meeting a really nice lady, and they've been building their relationship, and that's good. I miss him a lot, and I want to do shows with him more. I ended up picking up a new mic. It's over here. This guy right here. So that kind of we'll be able to I'll be able to do more mobile stuff on my own without having to bother Joe as much, because he had, like, he had the setup. He had an interface, he had a like $300 mic and the stands and a camera, and so I've got basically the mm, poor person's version of all that. I've got a camera that I use, this camera here that I used for streaming when I first started, uh, CKD Lefty, streaming Warzone and stuff like that. But you know that that wasn't as fun as what we were doing with Addison. Going to talk to local artists, talking to uh, local business people, and getting their story, and that's what it was all about. And Addison always believed in that, and you know for a little bit it was hard to think that I could do it without him, honestly. um, Fuck. He was my best friend. He was always over here. I mean, you go back in the footage, and I mean, even on one of the Warzone videos that I did, I'm talking to him on the phone, when he's not even here, and talking about, he's gonna bring, I think he was bringing me tacos or burritos or something like that. So, you know, um, but for the spirit of Addison, I think, you know, it's time to get back out there and start seeing people, start talking to people, getting those stories out, because that was the most important thing to both of us, was to get the stories of, I mean, they're our friends, but individually, they're artists, they're entrepreneurs, they're mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters, etc., etc. Just people we love, and uh, we love them so much. We want the whole world to hear their story. And so, with or without Joe, hopefully with when he can make it, and without when he can't, but always, just like Addie. I mean, he's not gone, but he's busy. Always with me, Love Joe. He's another reason why, you know, we all started doing this in the first place anyway. He had all this equipment, and he wanted to record music and stuff, and then we were like, well, I mean, we could repurpose that to make something a little different, you know. Um, but I really want to get out there, and I mean, I still got school and stuff, I'm off for the next couple of weeks. Oh man, that coffee's not that good. Wait, no, wait, hold on. No, it's all right. It's not bad. But you know, the most important thing was getting people's stories out there, and um, so I'll be picking up. I'm gonna start booking shows again, and hopefully we'll see you out there on stream. And if not stream, we'll be putting it up on YouTube. Um, but I mean, some of my favorite shows. One of my favorite shows. My favorite show. I just want to talk about my favorite show with Addie real quick. My favorite show with Addison was probably our Hawk Rider show. Like one of the last shows that we did, and I think Addison really hit his stride. And really started, feeling comfortable on the camera. I remember our first couple of shows over at Down to Quest, and God, we would get so high off the dabs that they had, because me and Addie, I mean, I know Addie smoked dabs, but I mean, essentially, like, all I've really seen DTQ do was concentrates, because the house that they were in at the time, they weren't allowed to have they weren't allowed to smoke. So, but the loophole that they kind of got into was they were able to do concentrates because it doesn't have that smoky residue or whatever. It's all like vaporized, or yeah. So Addy would he would get so high, he would look at me, or we'd be talking and he'd be talking, and I'd be looking at him and I'd be like, listening to what he's saying, on the show, and then he would just look over at me and he'd be like, "Stop looking at me." He'd be freaking out, and then he'd stop telling his story because he was like freaked out that everybody was paying attention to him. It's like, man, there's like, a good, between 60 to 100 people watching at any time, especially over at Down to Quest, so it's like, man, like, I'm your friend. You don't have to worry about me watching you. I'm listening to your story, man. Like, if you're freaking out, you might be freaking out over the, small venue size amount of people that's, like, watching us. That's like the pack, like that's essentially the Vulture that just opened up over here by the Black Sheep. If you watched any of our previous shows, we have done interviews at the Black Sheep. The Black Sheep, the people that own it, they have a new venue, like right next to it, basically, called Vultures, and it's a smaller venue. It's kind of more like a hole in the wall, kind of like, dive bar kind of thing, but it's really nice inside. It's got a lot of great people that work there. They got Joe Bruno over there. He was doing the open mics. If you saw that video of us, he was doing open mics at the Black Sheep, and now he's running the open mics at Vultures. So that's cool. That's really cool, man. And I've been hanging out with Joe Bruno recently. He's killing it on his comedy stuff. Because he's a drummer for a local band, and then he's also a local stand-up comedian. And I was at an event with him and our friend Trenton Cotton over at Nano 108 off of Powers, and that was a really fun show, man. That was actually one that me and Joe went to together, and he saw Trenton Cotton's camera, and he's like, man, I need to get one of these, because yeah, Trenton's camera is really, really nice, man. It's got the whole setup, man. But uh, I'm just kind of rambling, I guess. I just you know, I go from one story to the next, like, yeah, like nothing. Um, but just thinking about Addy and uh, missing him and stuff like that. But knowing that, you know, um, Addy would want to keep the show going. And I'm sure he would have found it hard if it was the other way around. If it was me instead of him. And man, I just miss him so much. Uh, we would we'd go out with Skeet a lot. Um, we'd go out with Skeet Glass a lot and hang out downtown. Um, Eddie had a lot of great ideas for what we should do moving forward with our second season. And if you saw the intro, um, that was supposed to be the intro for our second season. Our first episode was actually going to be with a band called Super Clang, and uh, that footage ended up getting messed up. So I'm gonna have to just redo the interview. Sometimes that happens, especially with electronics and stuff. You don't record it on high 8 anymore, so like it's just gone. If you don't have a hard copy of it, it's just gone. Um, all my previous editing had come from besides like basically watching YouTube videos on how to run OBS. Before that, all my editing, um, know-how came from, hanging out with our friends, and we would hook up a VCR to a high 8 camera, and then we would basically record it onto a VHS tape, pressing play and stop, and we had some really cool stop motion animated videos that we did. We had a lot of skate videos that we did, edited with music. I remember a good friend back in the day, Chad Weber. He runs a tea place in California now, and he cut together a really good skate video for us back in the day, and it had music and you could hear the skating and everything. Because sometimes when you were doing that old school editing, you would have to either sacrifice music for the sound of the skateboard, or you would have to sacrifice the sound of the skateboard to have music. And he was able to get them both in there. That was really cool. But yeah, I guess circling back around, we did a show at the Black Sheep with Kevin Zerfus. That was a really good show. Addy was really getting into it. Um, and he'd never been in the green room for the Black Sheep, and so he was like, "Man, how do you even, get into these places?" And I was just like, "You just gotta, you just gotta ask. You gotta talk to people, and you can, most people are pretty open to, wanting to promote their business or promote, their bands and stuff like that. And if you can make it sound good enough, and if you can make it look good enough, you know, it's basically a win-win. You get to hang out with some cool people or friends or whatever, and go somewhere fun and new. And I was surprised because Addy had been in a lot of bands. I was really surprised that he hadn't been in the green room before, and so it was kind of an honor to be able to be the first one to get him down there and get him in the green room and stuff. Even though there was no furniture or nothing like that, they had just repainted everything. And yeah, if you've been to the Black Sheep in the last year, it's a really cool spot. It's got a lot of great people there. Just ooh, excuse me. But uh, you know, I guess yeah, 2021, man. It was a roller coaster for sure, man. We were going places that we'd never been, um, meeting people and seeing people we never, thought we'd ever see before. Um, we got to see, uh, some really cool celebrities, like people that had been in Anchorman, and Shannon Elizabeth that was in like American Pie and a bunch of other stuff. And um, we were talking with Jamie Kennedy to try to get an interview, but that was around the time where Addie started getting sick, and he, we weren't able to lock that in. But I mean, it just goes to show, just with like a little bit of that effort and amount of you know just believing in ourselves, we were able to go from you know where I'm at now, basically just gonna have to start over, um, to being in the world arena, with VIP press passes for Comic Con, you know, and that was probably 8 months, from when we started to when that happened. So I mean, we just got to keep going, got to keep doing it. But anyway, I'm gonna let you all go. I thought I'd give you guys a quick update. I might be doing a show, um, with one of my neighbors, a musician. He's played with some really cool people, just to kind of get my feet wet again and get back into the groove of doing it. So we'll do maybe an interview with him, hear some of his cool stories about some of the bands he's played with. I'm pretty sure he was telling me he played with like Jerry Only. So that's gonna be an interesting show, just hearing about that, um, and have him play some music, or maybe we'll both play some music, and see where it goes from there. Uh, I'll start reaching out to people that we were supposed to be doing shows with, and see if we can rebook them. And I think, um, you know, even though Addy won't be here to be cutting his jokes and telling his stories and stuff, I hope that we can bring something to you that is worth watching, and at least, um, worth doing. And I want to thank everybody that we interviewed, everybody that watches the YouTube videos, everybody that watches our streams. We're not doing this to become millionaires or anything like that, man. We're doing it because we love our friends and we believe in our friends. And I think that bottom line message is what we wanted to get across, is, you know, believe in your friends, and believe in your local scene, man, because there's so many hidden gems in your backyard, you know, just like the people that dig up, that they're digging up to plant a garden and they end up finding a dinosaur, that's just kind of how we felt about it. I could go 4 blocks from my house and, talk to somebody that's played, shows with AFI and the Guttermouth and all sorts of cool people, or people that run burlesque shows and all sorts of fun stuff, So, you don't have to wait 6 months for, some huge celebrity to pop up, If you want to go to a show, do it safe, but go to a show locally, man. Go $5, you waste that on a coffee, or you know, a soda pop or whatever, fucking, you know, in your day-to-day life. So, I mean, what's it gonna cost you? Just a $5 and maybe a little bit of time, and at the very least, you know, you'll be in a new place and experiencing something different. So, uh, with all that being said, I'm not trying to make a super long video. Um, so, with all that being said, I'm gonna, you know, say one more time, you know, believe in your friends and believe in your community, and you know, there's beautiful people just all around you doing something amazing. So get out there and maybe go say hello. Um, and with all that being said, I'm gonna sing a song real quick. I'm gonna sing the song that Addie always asked me to sing. It's called Mother Divine. I might have to tune real quick actually because I forgot to do that before I started streaming. I made my coffee, but I forgot to tune my guitar, so my bad. But you know, hopefully everybody out there's been doing good. I hope your year's been all right. I hope you know, I hope that you haven't lost too many great people in your life last year. I hope you didn't lose any at all, honestly. Let's see. I know I got a tuner on here somewhere. There it is. Alright, I'm gonna tune my guitar real quick. And then I'm gonna finish this out with Mother Divine. Oh, that's on. Super flat. Cool. So, anyway, you know, thank you to everybody that watches the videos. Thank you to all our guests that we've had, past and hopefully future. It's been hard without Addy, man. I love him very much, and I miss him a lot. So this song's for you, bro. I love you, man. Stop and rewind. You're always so kind. Crescendo that made my heart explode. The feelings that I've never showed. My senses have all reached overload. Between right now and a great unknown. The devil's details, a lover's betrayal, resisting arrest and failing at best. Crescendo that overload between right now and a great unknown. Mother divine, blinded the blind. Might have had the mic up a little too loud. My bad. But anyway, thank you all for being here, and thank you so much for being a part of Late Night with Lefty. And we look forward to bringing you some cooler stuff here in the future. Newer shows, new friends, and new experiences. All right. We love you, and we'll see you soon.